And hello YouTube, today let's cross out the power jack repair altogether because the power jack repair doesn't apply to this particular model. It's a separate site, it's called USB-C repair.com. We got a Lenovo 6th generation X1 ThinkPad Carbon, long name. The thing is, it's here for the power connector repair, the charge port repair, and it's a USB Type-C connector. As you can see from this plug, this is the plug that the client provided. This plug is slightly bent right there, right here. And the shape, it's kind of auto shape and it's kind of really, well, it's not in a good shape. So when the client plugs it in, they don't get any power anymore. Now, it's really important that if you decide to fix it, you need to fix it while it still works sometimes. If it doesn't work sometimes anymore, that means we would not be able to help you much. Let me bring my power supply. Let's test and see. And everything is falling, obviously. Let's test and see. Using my power supply with the nice and thin tip, if we get the voltage. In order for us to see if we get the voltage at the existing connection, we plug in this voltmeter, so to speak, amp meter, and we plug it in and we get nothing. And we want to plug in that way as well and see maybe we get something the other way. And we get nothing. Usually that means it's a dead end. Again, USBCrepair.com has all the information about those let's see if I'm plugged in. Let's see if we get anything on this guy. Oh yeah, we get something on this guy. Good job. So they didn't break the second port altogether, but we're not getting any wattage through. So we get the handshake done, but wattage doesn't go through. Let's see if we can do the other way. Well, on this guy we get 0. Well, we also get nothing. Well, we get 19 volts, that means we get the handshake, but it doesn't charge the battery, it doesn't do anything, and it's also loose. Yeah, again, this video is probably gonna show you that even if we replace the connector, nothing gonna work. But since it's already here, and since I started the video, let me show you how to replace the connection. First, you wanna remove this guy right here. How to take the whole laptop apart, and how to remove the old connector, and how to connect, how to solder a new connector in. Again, it's gonna be a good practice. So here, we remove that, we remove this, and now we just unscrew everything on the bottom of the laptop. All right, we take everything from the bottom of the laptop. We take the bottom cover off the laptop. Unscrew a screw right here that holds the hinge down. Set it aside. And let's see what else. We can bring the screw holder a bit closer. Now here we got the battery for Lenovo parked right here. We're gonna take this guy off. And this guy off. This screw right here, screw right there. And we probably wanna take this screw right here out. Those are the long screws. And let's see. We wanna slide it that way. My understanding, we wanna unplug it like that. And we got another screw right there. All right. So we wanna lift it up, slide it like that, remove the battery and set it aside. All right, so this is a proper hinge. We're gonna just hinge it upwards. Nothing special. And remove the wire. This is a bracket right there. which you want to lift up. And all right, you want to lift up the bracket and pull on this guy this way, like that. You want to move this guy up. The reason we show you those videos so that you could send us just the motherboard. Because, I mean, taking the whole thing apart and then at the end see that we can't really make it work, it's really kind of depressing. So here we're gonna take this guy out, we're gonna take this guy out right here. And again, we are the first people who started to replace those USB Type-C connectors, but the business doesn't really take off because we get a lot of clients, and most of them are in shape like this laptop, where chances that it's gonna work are pretty much a lot less than 50, in my opinion. Because once you wiggle it to the point where the motherboard chips go bad, we can't really do much. All right, so... And it clearly says on our website, don't send us the laptops which are already dead. I mean, if you decide to send us the laptop, send us the laptop that is still alive. But once it's dead, it's not a connector anymore. I mean, if you wiggle it to death, it doesn't mean we can resurrect it. I mean, even if we can replace this connector, it doesn't mean it's gonna work. And yeah, so we have to we have to come up with some sort of pricing structure for our regular business of power jack repairs. We have a simple policy, no fix, no charge, but for this business, it just doesn't apply because we can still replace the connector, no big deal, right? But will it work? And now McDonald's pays more than Burger King. Then you can spend all day on this thing and not get paid, you know. So that's the reason at this time we kind of limit what you can send in. Obviously this client just shipped it. Okay. So here we got another screw for the Wi-Fi. I'm sure I have a video too of this 6th generation from maybe a year or two ago. I think we got better equipment now, and we just need to keep the site, the channel alive. So here we want to move this guy this way, and we have set it aside so that I know which one goes where. All right. So next thing is we got 3 screws there for some reason, and we got this guy here. Let's see if we can lift it up. No, we can't. Okay. So I guess we have to take the fan off the motherboard. The heatsink, I meant to say. Alright, so we take the heatsink off. And we need to unscrew a bit more. Yeah. Alright, so we take the heatsink off. We're gonna clean this area and we're gonna clean the heatsink. Oh, we got another cable right here, which is hinged like that. Like that. Okay, good job. Alright, and that's how we take the motherboard, and that's how we would prefer to receive it here. Just the motherboard. Alright. So what we do next is we're gonna take this guy like that. We're gonna put some Kapton tape on top of the sticker, because otherwise the sticker will pick up a whole bunch of dirt. And that dirt, not so much dirt, we got a whole bunch of solder all over the place. So we don't want to short the motherboard after the repair if that sticker picks up the lead, so to speak. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is, if you look closer, let's switch the camera angle here. If you look closer, you will see a whole bunch of little black dots right there. And you can probably see the black dots, but I will show you under the microscope in a second. Now, once you blow those black dots off the motherboard, nothing's gonna work. So we're talking about those guys right there. All right. So whatever you do, you need to insulate this area so much so that none of those black dots fly off the motherboard. Because nobody, not even me, is going to take their time and try and solder those black connectors back to the motherboard. Same we got here on the top side. I will show you on the microscope in a second, hopefully, what I'm talking about. Nobody gonna solder it here in the United States for sure. Nobody has time for it. All right, so here, let me show you under the microscope what I'm talking. As you can see right here, you see those black components right in the back. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those black components supposed to be there when you take this guy off, and after you install it back into the laptop. So right here you see those little guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, so the most difficult part of this repair. Oh, by the way, this guy can also fly off the motherboard. Usually it flies off the motherboard. So the most difficult part is to make sure that those guys don't fly off the motherboard. Let's prepare the motherboard. Now, to prepare the motherboard, usually we use this 3M energy savings product. It's about $15 a roll like that, or $35. One of two, 15 or 35. And we also use the Kapton tape like that. But because of those tiny little bits, because of the glue on the Kapton tape and the glue on the 3M tape, sometimes that glue can pick up that component of the motherboard when the heat is applied. So we have to use the foil, just a regular foil, and we have to use it in a way to protect the little pieces there. All right, so let's put it like that. And at the same time, I need space to tape it down. All right. And the most important part is to cover the black pieces there. All right. And you can also probably cover the LED light right here, so it's not going to be blown off the motherboard, because it happens every single time, because it starts to rotate. It's a surface mounted. There is a lot of... All right, here like that maybe. Okay. All right. All right. Okay, on this end, what we want to do, we also want to cover the as close to the rear legs as possible. Okay, like that. Rear legs of the connector. I meant to say like that. And then we have to cover the like that. Yeah, so again, this is all, I mean, it's almost midnight, and I usually set those kind of repairs for when I have time, and the only time I have is middle of the night, because I know it's not, even if I'm gonna fix it, I'm not gonna make any money, but at least I'm gonna make a video and tell the people that as long as you can still wiggle it and it works, send it in. Don't wait until the last moment. I mean, but usually it's like, you know, you got a pain in the body and you wait until nobody can do anything. So yeah. All right, so the way to remove this connector is to add some leaded base solder to those connections on the bottom, then flip the guy over, add some leaded base solder to the top, then using the hot air at around 350 degrees, just wait until it's gonna just fall off the motherboard. But the thing is, there's a rear row of pins and there's the inner row of pins. And when you have a setup like that, what you want to do is you want the inner row of pins to be well heated up. And I hope that the components here are not gonna fall off. You know what, let me get another I just want to insulate it a bit more, otherwise it's for sure not gonna work. All right, let me show you how to take it off. Alrighty, so my new setup has an exhaust fan mounted slightly different place, and hopefully it's gonna suck all the fumes out properly. Alright, so what we do here is we just add the leaded base solder to the connections. The leaded base solder gonna mix with the unleaded base solder, and it's gonna come out right much easier than if you don't do this step. Well, again, depends. We could just go at it with the whole power, or we could just heat it up slowly. And let's see, what we can do here is to put a rail. All right, so what I'm doing here, I'm just heating up the motherboard and the connector right here. All right, from the bottom. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna flip the whole thing, and we're gonna try and get this connector out from this end. You know what? I need to increase the airflow. And I just increased the temperature. So now I'm at 410 degrees. And now we're gonna bump up the temperature even more. At the airflow 60% and 420 degrees Celsius. And it still doesn't bulge. It's still holding on strong. Yeah, still holding on. Let's try this side. Yep, okay, and it came off. Good job. So 420 is probably too much. So we're gonna set it down to 350. Set the airflow to like 30, 40. and shut this guy down. Well, not shut it down, but use it to clean up the motherboard. Is that... oh, it's another component I was... oh, wow, 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 wow. Yeah, that thing is super hot. That thing is super hot. Alrighty, let's drop the hot air on top of the area. Okay. And what we're gonna do next is we're gonna use the desoldering wick to remove all of the excess solder from the holes. Let's see how smoothly it's gonna go. Okay, that was really smooth. Right there. We're gonna try and get all the solder right here as well. Alrighty. And now what I need to get the desoldering braid holder. Because this doesn't really work for me. Come on. Alright, let's do a little quick solder removal on this end. Okay, good job. Let's remove the hot air station altogether. Let's shut down the hot air. And let's check under the microscope the situation where we at. Alright. Alright, looks really good to me. We need to desolder a little bit here on the left side. No, it looks okay. Let me run a little bit more desoldering right there. The left side. Where are you at? Right there. Doesn't look like it's completely cleaned up. Well, maybe Maybe not on this side, maybe on the other side. No? Okay, now it's completely cleaned up. All right, now let's clean up the whole area with the alcohol. All right. And let's use the Q-tips to wipe out all of the imperfections here. Like that. Looks good? Looks good. The only problem is those little tiny guys right there are exposed now. And they shouldn't be exposed. They should be covered in it's really important to have those covered, guys. Otherwise, you're just gonna waste the whole day on nothing. All right, so these guys are gonna be nicely covered. All right. Let's see what we have from this angle. This guy is not covered. Oh, come on. Oh, shoot. No. No. Like that. Will it be okay? I don't know. You know what? Let me put some tape over it. Alright, and that's it. Job is done. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just fitting the new connector onto the motherboard, making sure that the rear pins align and everything aligns perfectly fine. And now is the most tedious task, so to speak, trying to make sure everything's gonna be working the way it should. So the way we're gonna solder the inner row is, you see there is the inner row which we can get access to. All right, let's see, maybe we can deal with, all right, like that. So we got the inner row of pins right here, which we don't have the access to, and we got the outer layer here, which we can solder each one properly. So the goal is to put some solder on every one of those pins right here, and hopefully make this whole thing work. So yeah. All right, let's try and go through the whole board one more time. Remove everything that's not, that could be remaining there. All right, so it seems like everything is removed completely. All right, so my problem is that I lost the layout. It's here someplace, but the time it takes me to find it, the most important pins basically, I'm not sure, I don't remember it from top of my head. I don't remember for top of my head which pins are the most important, because today I want to try something new. Something really new and something really cool. Yeah, So here's what I'm gonna try. Instead of using a low melt solder, I will attempt to fix it using a not so low melt solder. And I'm just gonna apply it here. All right. I'm gonna apply it right there. One thing what I need to do is add some flux. All right. I don't know if that trick gonna work. I just seen it on YouTube. Some guy did it, but he didn't do exactly what I'm trying to do here. All right. All right. Okay. It's really important to add some solder here, but not let it drip into that hole right there. So I think this is what I'm trying to achieve. All right. This is experimental again. This is experimental video, and we will see how it's gonna work out for me. So the next thing that I need to do, I need to check and see under what temperature, when my hot air is running, the whole solder gonna melt right there. Oh, by the way, I also need to add some tape on top of this guy, so it would protect the components nearby. All right, so the goal is to see under which temperature this thing gonna melt, and if it's gonna melt. Right now we're at 350 and everything should be melting already if I would be using a different type of solder. But I think stuff is already melting here, but I'm not exactly fascinated by the way it melts. Nah, this is not the way I like it. Let's do 360 and 45. Let's see how well it's gonna melt at 360. I don't know, guys. 360 also doesn't melt quite well. Let's do 370 Celsius. The motherboard dissipates the heat pretty well. The minuses are melting because it's all in the motherboard. And they're not melting the widget. Alright, so never mind, it's not gonna work. This is not gonna work. 370 degrees at 45 flow. No way. No, it's gonna melt the whole connector. I really wanted to try something new, but no, that's not gonna work. Let's suck all of the solder off the motherboard. All right. Okay. Let's try a different thing. Yeah, I mean, every time I'm trying to use a different type of low melt solder, today we're gonna use a, well, Chip Quick. This one has a silver base in it. Let's try not a Chip Quick, but a different one. Alrighty. This is some other paste, which we're gonna try and use. Alrighty, so we're gonna spread some paste around here. And it did go all the places where I didn't want it to go. Alright. Let's see if I can wipe it all clean before trying to do anything here. Alright. Yeah, that's why I don't like using this paste, because it's all over. Alright. Hopefully that's gonna be okay. Let's bring in my perfectly cleaned soldering iron. And let's see what we can do here. Okay. Alright, and that's pretty much all we need. Right here. Alright. Let's see if we can clean up the rest of it using the cleanup pad. Again, I apologize, I'm not extremely in a happy mood to hear you today. I wanted to experiment, I wanted to get things done, and at the end of the day, the experiment didn't work out. Alrighty, let's try one more time getting rid of this stuff. I mean, there shouldn't be any bridges here. And that's the reason I don't like this paste too much, because of the bridges it makes. And once it makes a bridge, you can have a whole bunch of side effects. Alright. Let's clean up one more time. Alright, it seems to me we don't have any bridges here. Now another hard part. Let's do the same thing on the connector itself. Let's do this guy right here. And we need to probably clamp it down or something. Alrighty. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I cleaned up the tip. And we're gonna be because in soldering both sides have to be. Alright, let's clean this guy up. Both sides need to be pre-tinned. Alright. Alright, looks good? Looks good. Alright, first let's run the test at what temperature the whole solder starts to melt here. Alright, so we do need to warm up the motherboard. I just need to make sure this setting I'm on right now gonna melt the solder just fine. Okay, yeah, that melts the solder just fine. Alright, so let's reduce the will this 340 melt? Yes, 340 also melt. Let's try 320. Will 320 melt it as well? Yes, 320 melts it as well. Now I don't want those two guys to short. So here, let's figure this guy out right there. All right, looks good. Do we still have anything left on the pads? We know what all of the solder flew away someplace. Or drop down. Okay, let's try and add some solder to it one more time. Now we know the air temperature. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add no, that's too much. That's too much, unfortunately. That's one big blob. Let's make it here. What a mistake on my part. Let's see if I can use a bigger iron to get this stuff. Right, and let's try and use the desoldering quick and get this stuff off of here. No, it keeps spreading all over the place. I don't like it. You see the reason I wanted to experiment today? Because that's what I have to deal with all day, every day. No, this is just horrible. This is just horrible. Horrible, 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 horrible. Okay. All right, looks good. All right, now the inner pins are all crossed, touching each other. I don't want it to touch each other. So we're just gonna go like that. Like that. Let's clean up the tip. Yeah, this solder is horrible to work with. Okay. Looks somewhat okay. All right. Now we're ready. We know the melting temperature. All right. So what we're gonna do is power up the hot air station one more time. Prepare the connector for planting. All right, let's see if we can do a good job here. We can't because my tweezers are too short and my fingers get burned. Okay. All right, one more time. Can see if... Yeah, solder is melting. Let's do one more time. I lost my jack in the process. Right, one more time. All right, so it seems like the connector fell into place, hopefully. And you can see there is some plastic melting on the sides. So about 320 and 40%. All right, let's see if we can lift up the jack. No, we can't. All right, so something is soldered, all right? How well it's soldered, I'm not sure. I guess you'll have to wait and see. So let's solder the front and then we're gonna solder the back. And I need to put some pressure, constant pressure, to solder the front. Obviously, we're soldering everything with the just the regular wire, regular soldering wire. Let's put some pressure right there. All right. And I need more. I need more solder. And I need more flux. Yeah, I probably should have used a little bit more flux on the connection, on the inner connection. Middle of the night, what can you do? Let's see. Ah, yeah, need more flux. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Good job. Okay. All right. All right, let's do the bottom. And what we want to do is we want to put some pressure on the bottom. Okay, good job. Add more solder. Okay. Okay. Good job. Need a little bit more flux on this side. Okay. Now let's try and use the smaller soldering iron. It should be on. All right. This smaller iron is not really used for this type of work, but this looks good. That looks good. Okay. Now let's see. The goal is to you know what the worst part? I know that this thing probably not even gonna work. because it's no longer just a jack issue. And I'm doing such a great job. Again, adjust so that I will get some content. And the best you can do is just leave a like. Yeah, I've seen how people do everything under a lot of hot air. The thing is, there's a Nintendo Switch USB Type-C connection. This is slightly different. You can't just do it under the... I mean, you could. Anybody can do anything. I know. Let's push some pressure on top of the connection. Let's do again. All right, so this is a regular solder right here. We just use the leaded base solder. Let's add some more light into the equation. All right, I can clearly see that one of the pins still needs my attention right here. All right. All right, so what I want to see is, do we have any imperfections there? Let's zoom in a little bit. And like that. All right, so just my only concern is the leftmost pin, which was crooked to begin with. Let's see if they are shorting with the rightmost pin. Nope, they're not shorting. All right, that's good. Let's see if this guy is also soldered fine. Looks good, looks good. All right. I'm not happy about the last pin right there. Doesn't look solid to me. And that's a little bit too much, but it's gonna be nicely soldered through. All right, let's clean this guy up. All right, so like that. All right, I'm still not happy about the two rear pins right there. So let's finish this. Like that. Let's bring it from this side. All right, the better the mount, the less chances it's gonna move around. All right. Let's do a bigger soldering iron here. All right. Alrighty. Yeah, because you see all of the thermal mass goes into the casing, the connector. All right. You know what? The solution is always flux. Just use more flux. All right. So let's do some flux here. Let's do some flux right there. And I have done so many of those already. I know when nothing's gonna work, and that's nothing. It's probably this guy. All right. Let's try smaller. All right, I don't want to be destroying this tip. This tip alone is like $100. Soldering iron itself is like $300. Tip is $100. The station is another couple $100, and you're over $1,000 already into it. Just so you would be able to solder those rear tiny pins. All right, that's all there is. All right, so let's inspect and see. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in the back. They're the same way as they used to be. Here we got soldered, and all of those connections looks really soldered well. And this guy as well. Here we got, well, those two were probably missing to begin with. Not supposed to be here for the, I wonder if this is the IC chip that goes bad all the time. Please leave a comment below if you think this is the chip that goes bad as the IC chip. Now let's try and see the other side. And there is really nothing to see here because, oh yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, and we got the LED light still intact. It didn't fly off the motherboard. So yeah, I mean, you see how clean everything is in terms of, we need to just clean up a little bit right there. All right, looks good. Alrighty, so over an hour video, over an hour long. Let's take a look what we have shorting, what we don't have shorting. All right, so it's a good sign that it goes in. That's a tester for every single pin. Let's bring another camera in and see that. See everything that you're gonna see. Like that. Well, no, like that. Okay, like that. And that's much better. All right, so we set it into continuity mode. Let's start with the minuses. All right, so that's a minus. When we get a solid minus basically. I don't want to press down onto this guy too much because it's gonna break the jack. Right, like that. So here. Let's see. Minus is fine. Whatever this signal is not fine. Maybe it's not even connected. This is also not connected. So B11, B10 not connected. B9 is connected. B8 is connected. B7 is connected. B6 is connected. B5 is connected. B4 is connected. B3 is also connected. B2, for some reason B2 is showing as 0 and B1 is showing as 0. So my understanding that maybe the B1 and B2 are shorting someplace. Could that be possible? Could very well be possible. Let's flip this guy over and try and test it here as well. Here. All right, so on this end we got the negative, another negative. A1 doesn't do anything, A10 doesn't do anything, A9, A8, A7, A6. All right. Does shorting? No, those are not shorting. A3, A3, A2, A1. All right, so my only concern is these two legs right here. They might be shorting. So basically B1 and B2 might be shorting. All right, so let's see if we're getting any voltage through. Let's bring in the power supply, my genuine Lenovo power supply. Plug it in. We get the red light and we get the 12.4 wattage going through, 0.7 amps going through right there. Okay, let's flip this guy over. Yeah, that's mine. Is it mine? Yeah, that one is mine. Or is it? You know what, this probably not. Oh no, that's mine. Mine is already also not in the best shape. So let's flip this guy over, plug it in. And we also get the red light right there, and we get 0.75 amps. All right, so good job. I mean, I wasn't expecting that this thing is gonna work, but it does do a handshake. It does do what it's supposed to do. So I will have to unwrap those thermal tapes right here and put it all back together. But the way how I'm gonna put it back together is probably tomorrow, because this is already at 2 a.m. So, or maybe should I just put it right now? Yeah, let's just put it right now. See what we can do. You know what? Let me go get some water. All right, I have to go to sleep. The way how to put it back together, you can watch on our channel. I have 3 or 4 of those videos of the same model, 6th generation. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, and you guys have a good day. Thanks.